It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 7 p.m. in Philadelphia. 7 o'clock. You know what that means, Amelia? Tick-tock, it's 7 o'clock. What does that mean?
It is what's the buzz podcast time.
For me, I got to put up with Amelia for the next hour. Good Lord. Anyway, that's what 7 o'clock means.
I'm going to cut you some slack today.
Anyway, how you doing, kid?
Doing good. I just got back from a doctor's appointment, and I'm having issues with my background, it seems like still. But
she's not here 30 seconds, and she's bitching about it already. Let's try this again. How you doing, Amelia?
The doctor I go see, it's like crazy because you go in, your appointment's a certain time, but by the time the doctor, you weigh in, everything's fine. You go to the room, and by the time the doctor sees you, it's ridiculous. You wait there 45 minutes to an hour.
You know what I love? I love the fact that doctors think that you get sick by appointment these days.
I know, right?
Like, who does that? People used to get sick, they go to the doctors. Now, you get sick, you call up, I want to make an appointment. I could bring you in February, and it's June, okay?
Yeah.
In February, I could be dead by February.
I know.
I could have grown the third leg by February.
Yeah. And especially if you want to see a specific doctor, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't have an appointment for that particular doctor at a certain time.
June. Yeah. It's July. You want me to get, I'm supposed to stay sick from now to, I'll work on it. Let me see for you. Just for you, I'll do it.
We used to hear that same thing. I'm going to die by.
It amazes me. They expect you. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I got a doctor who's going to come on. We're going to talk about that. My doctor agreed to come on.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a pain in my ass, but he's going to come on and talk about it. I got to put him in silhouette, though. I can't put his face on the air because then they'll know that he's diming out the company he's working for.
You're going to disguise his voice, too?
I can do that. We have a voice disguiser here. Yeah. Easy. That's easy. Well, that's easy enough to do. Look, we can make, all we got to do is put his little icon up.
Yeah.
You'll never see his face. Change his voice up a little bit. Play around with the sound.
Yeah.
And don't never know. Anyway, what do you, listen, what'd you do 4th of July?
Well, we actually decided to stay home. We didn't want to do the hustle bustle. We had steak and potatoes, our normal thing here.
Good.
And my daughter actually
came home, right?
Yeah.
The baby came home.
Yes, absolutely. The baby finally came home. Her in-laws were in town, my daughter's in-laws, so they got to see the baby, spend some time with the baby. I wanted to give them some time, some equal time, actually, because, of course, I've had some equal plus more time, and they came in from Texas because they're moving down here, and so give them time to spend the baby, gets a house down here, which they found. And then of course Sunday we went to go see them and got to hold the baby.
Look who popped in to say hello. Hot damn.
Hi.
Hello.
Mama is here. Geri Jewell. How you doing, baby? My friend Geri Jewell.
Oh, I must do my hair better.
I love it.
You look wonderful. What are you talking about? You look terrific.
You look fantastic.
She is. I have known Geri Jewell. I'm going to give it away, Joe. We have known each other for 13 years. That's a scary proposition, but it's true. We
I'm
have one.
sorry that you known him that long.
Is, is there any way the sound can be louder?
Oh, we can do that.
A little bit?
We can do that. Yeah, let me play with the sound over here. We can do
'Cause
that.
I can
Let's see. We
barely
are
hear
gonna.
you,
You can barely hear us.
and I have my hearing aids in, so
How
Oh,
about now, Jerry?
can you hear us a little bit better?
A little
a
bit better?
little bit. I'll deal with it. If I give you a weird answer to something you never asked, you'll know I heard it wrong.
Well, what I told you is that I'm sorry you've known him for 13 years.
Yeah. We actually, Jerry and I met online. Um, I think we met through Facebook, believe it or not, years ago. And I believe I think we connected shortly after that when you flew to New Jersey with your friend Josie, right?
Yes, yes,
And that's right, Josie. I remember Josie. That's
yeah.
been a long. That was a long time ago,
There,
Jerry.
and I was visiting my friend Josie, absolutely, and that's when I met you personally.
Yeah, yeah. That was the first time we met in person. I was far better looking than she thought. So,
Of course.
right. So listen, it's been a while since we caught up. How you doing?
Say it again.
I said it's been a little while. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in this strange world that we're living in.
It is a strange, bizarre place. It's getting stranger by the day.
It is.
It really, really is. It really. Jerry, you live in Southern California, right? Just outside of LA or right in LA, somewhere around there?
North Hollywood.
North Hollywood. Okay. What's
LA
the
County.
political climate like right now in Gavin Newsom's California?
You're asking me?
I love it.
Never well. I heard he's got the whole state of California went sideways. What the hell's going on, man? This is crazy stuff.
I think California gets a lot of unfair criticism, and it's blown
Yeah.
out of proportion on the news. It's not. I mean, my brother, I just talked to one of my brothers the other day, and he said, well, I guess California is on fire again. I said, where, David?
Oh
and
my
there
God.
was a small fire due to a illegal firework, but
That's funny.
it's so exaggerated on the news.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to start off with this kind of questioning because I remember, oh my God. And Amelia, I don't know if you remember, Amelia, you might be too young to remember, but years and years ago, Jerry did a stand-up routine at Ronald Reagan's inauguration gala.
I was
Yeah, it was a
I don't
long,
know where you got that from.
a
She did
long
not
time
do that.
ago.
She said
It was Obama. Not
Obama,
Reagan.
Oh,
not Reagan.
Obama. Oh,
Yeah.
really? I thought it was. Oh, you're
But
right.
I
It was.
did speak at the Reagan White House in '85, but it was long
Yes, you were
after
invited by Nancy. That's right. Nancy invited you. But I forgot all about that. You spoke, you went to Obama's inaugural gala. I forgot. See,
I did not. I emceed an event at the President's Club. I think it was Powerball, Disability Powerball. It was acknowledging all the people with disabilities that supported Obama and gave money and supported the campaign.
oh, gotcha. As well, like a fundraiser deal that sort of thing?
Oh God, I hate
Like
not being able to hear.
like a fundraiser?
It was like a fundraiser.
Like a fundraiser?
Well, it was just an acknowledgement of all the money that had been raised the night before
Oh,
the
Gotcha.
inauguration.
Amelia,
And
questions for
people with
Geri. Talk to
disabilities
Geri for a
got
little bit.
together all over the country and raised money for Obama.
oh,
Right.
okay,
Given.
fantastic.
Uh,
So,
and I did not attend the inauguration. I enjoyed the day, taking the train all over Washington, D.C., and it felt like Camelot all over, even though
I
I was a little
know.
Yeah.
girl when Kennedy was in, but that's how it felt like. And
Yeah.
I
I
used the train ticket still that I saved, and Obama's face is on it. So it was cool. It was a wonderful day. I enjoyed it.
visited Washington D.C. with my choir class back in high school in '85. What was your favorite spot to visit in Washington D.C.?
In '85,
I did. I went in '85 with my choir class. Yes. What was your favorite spot to visit in Washington D.C. when you went?
in Washington, D.C. in '85?
I don't know. I went in '85.
No. Oh, God, no. No.
What was your favorite spot to visit when you
You
went
guys
to
ain't
Washington?
interviewing deaf people. Oh, you were in high school in '85. Is that what you're saying?
What was your favorite spot to visit there in Washington D.C. when you went there?
Well, it was exciting. It
Mm.
was Inspire '85, but it was an event put together
Mhm.
again, acknowledging people with disabilities at the White House, and
Yes.
it was a pretty prestigious event to be a part of. In fact, afterwards, I was asked to perform at the Kennedy Center after
Yeah, I
I spoke at the
remember
White House.
going there, and I loved going to the Lincoln Memorial. That was my favorite spot to visit.
Actually,
Mhm.
are we taking a break?
He
This is
disappeared for a
not
minute, huh?
real work. I don't hear well enough for you guys. Let's see. What else do you want to? Are you taking a break? Is that
No,
what
no,
I
we're not
heard?
taking a break. It's just us girls right now, I guess. He decided to go backstage and disappear on us for a little bit. But I wanted to just talk to you for a little bit as well. I know that you've been a real good advocate for people with disabilities, LGBT communities, especially with the youth. Have you been raising any money for that as well?
Oh, I wish I could hear this
Oh,
conversation.
I'm sorry. I know you've been a big advocate for people with disabilities
Have
and
I
for the
been an advocate for people with disabilities? Yes, I have since
and I
the
know with
very
the
beginning.
LGBT community. Have you done any fundraising lately for them?
No, not lately. I'm here if you need me. Staying backstage. Oh God, I'm reading Angela's notes here on my side.
Oh,
She's got
yeah.
Amelia.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
okay. I have not
uh-huh.
really been involved in any fundraising. No, I have not. The last thing that I was politically involved in was I was striking with my friends at Screen Actors
Mhm.
Guild
Oh,
when they went on
fantastic.
strike.
What was your favorite fundraiser to do so far?
That had to do with a lot of things. They've had many different strikes over the years, and this was, I guess, a big one. I I don't remember offhand which one I was participating in, but I went out there for about 3 days.
Mhm. That's
Go ahead,
awesome.
one more meal, and I'll take over for a little bit.
Oh, okay. He's like disappeared on us for backstage for a minute. I was gonna
I
ask.
was getting a cup of coffee.
He's like, where did she go?
Not coffee.
No, I was gonna see how you been the monkey. I know that you were talking to us about your sister's monkey. I was gonna tell you that you ought to write a book about the monkey.
Yeah, Amelia and I were talking about that.
That your sister's monkey. You ought to write a book.
No, wait a minute. You know what one of the problems is that my hearing loss, females are very hard for me to hear.
Oh.
And that's why I'm having such a hard time with you. Don't take it personally.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
My hearing aids are in.
Uh-huh.
It's just, this is so embarrassing because I usually don't have this much problems. I don't know what the issue is.
Oh, it's all good,
I
Geri.
have-
Absolutely.
It's all good.
It's no,
It's
well,
good.
no, I'll fill you in a little bit. Amelia and I were talking about that adorable, lovable monkey you have. And I had a suggestion. I said, I'm going to tell Geri
You had
when
a
she
suggestion.
comes back on the show that
you
we are going to suggest to you that you write a new children's book called The Monkey and the Mad Dog.
No, I'm in the process of writing that book now, but it's not going to be called that, Angelo.
What kind of donation would it take to change the book
Well,
title?
It's
$1 million. She liked that one.
What is that? I see nothing, I hear nothing, I say nothing.
Honey,
That's gonna be a good name for that book.
exactly.
No, it's about Buck Monkey. His name is Buck. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
Now we know that the monkey has. I don't think we even knew that the last time. I just
now you know his name is Buck.
Buck.
And
Where can I ask you a question? Where the hell did Buck come from?
well, actually, I had given my sister this monkey as a gift when she was battling cancer.
Mhm.
And I gave her a whole bag of stuff. And the thing that she loved the most was this monkey. And I said, what are you going to name it, Gloria? And she said, well, I'll tell you when it lets me know. And I said, well, okay. And about 3 days later, the monkey still hadn't told her what his name was or her name was. Sorry,
my-
it's still nameless. And so then
That's funny.
the fourth day, monkey has a name, Geri. Oh, what did they get you? Well, his name is Buck.
Name is Buck. There you go. The
I
monkey's
said,
name
"What?
is Buck. Now we know.
Right.
You're naming it after our friend Kathy Buckley? She said, no. I said, then why did he choose Buck?
Mhm.
And she said, well, the other day I was in my room and I was bawling. I was crying my eyes out, and the doctor came in and he said, what's the matter, Gloria? Why are you so upset? And she said, oh, I don't know, maybe because I have cancer. And he said, well, you better buck up.
Oh. That's great. I love it. I love it. I love
So that hit a nerve in her, and she decided that the monkey's name was Buck and that the book was going to be called Buck Up to Cancer.
That's great. I love that, man. I love that. Geri, one of the things that you're known for is your groundbreaking presence on network television. And up until you came along, networks were really kind of hesitant to feature people with disabilities. And Facts of Life took a chance on you and strapped a rocket booster to your ass, and it went pretty high up.
God, I
How
wish I
did
was so visual. Okay.
we on this end of the camera, on this side of the camera, as the viewer, we don't see what goes into that. What can you walk me through either the easiness or the difficulty of that process? What it was like for you to have this kind of, whether you knew it or not, maybe you had this kind of pressure on you to perform. Tell me a little bit about what that was all like back in the day.
Well, truthfully, I am the first person with a visible disability ever to be cast in a primetime series. You can't count the people who have invisible disabilities. They've always existed, and they still exist. and some
Yeah.
of us have both.
Yeah.
No, I am the first female also with a disability to be cast in a primetime series. And I was oblivious to my influence, and I didn't even realize what I did until many, many years later. I
Yeah.
mean, when Norman Lear first saw me perform in 1980, he came up to me to introduce himself, and he said, kid, you're really funny, but you're way before your time. And I said, so wait a couple months.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you, Norman Lear.
About 2 months later, and then I was cast as Blair's cousin on The Facts of Life. So I became a national cousin per se. And today I am proud to say that I see people with cerebral palsy as stand-up comedians all over the internet. I mean, some of them are really, really hysterical, funny.
Yeah.
I love them. And
Oh, absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
was not happening back in the 80s or before. There was only one other comedian before me who had cerebral palsy, and I don't know if you recognize the name. His name was Nick Arnold. Do you recognize?
I do remember Nick Arnold. Absolutely.
Nick Arnold started stand-up in the 60s, and Johnny
Yep.
Carson discovered him and hired him as his head writer for The Tonight Show.
Yep, I know that story. I know that story well. And I would be remiss if I didn't know, because I'm a huge Carson fan. Did you ever you did The Tonight Show, didn't you?
I never did.
I was going to ask you about that, because we were trying to find, I was actually looking, because I thought to myself, I could have swore, thank God I'm not a betting man, because I could have swore that you did The Tonight Show, but you never did. How about that? Wow.
No idea. We tried year after year after year after year. And now I'm trying to do the Drew Barrymore show, trying to get that. I've tried to get on that show for the last year. And
really? Can I ask you a question? Would you let me help you?
If you had some influence, yeah.
Look at me, girlfriend. Listen, I got some juice. I got some juice.
No, I would love to promote my new book, and it's so needed so badly in the world right now. Geri Jewell.
This is the book, Geri's Jewels and Gems. There it is.
Yeah, and
Geri's
I know that Drew was a huge fan of Facts of Life. So
yeah, and this, by the way, speaking of Norman Lear, this book is forwarded by the legendary Norman Lear. This guy, people don't understand today in terms of television, but there was a time that Norman Lear at one time had seven sitcoms on the air, all running simultaneously.
Yes, he
Pe-
did.
pe- People don't know that. That
It
he
was
was
an
like,
amazing accomplishment.
it's remarkable to even to think that you were a part of that inner circle, because you were one of the few people who had access to him, because he would take your call, and a lot of people didn't have that kind of stroke.
He was like a second father to me. I mean, when I told him about the book I was writing, I said I want to share this book I've written, and he said, "Well, come on over to the house." So I said, "Okay," and I was with the publisher at the time, Randall Bell, and we drove over to Norman's house, and Dustin Hoffman was there. So we spent two
Oh,
hours
Oh, wow.
with Dustin Hoffman and Norman Lear, and it was a meeting that Randall and I will never forget as long as I live. I mean, it was incredible. And I asked Norman in that meeting in his living room, I said, I know you're really busy, Norm, but do you have time to write a foreword for my new book? It's a coffee table book, Norman. And he looks at the book and he looks at me. He said, "But what if they don't have a coffee table? Then what?"
We'll make sure that they do. Build them one.
well,
He
well,
said, "Of
but
course
buy
I'll
them
write a
one by.
foreword for you." And
Wow,
2 weeks
that's
later, it was delivered. And I have to tell you, Dustin Hoffman paid me the highest compliment that I think I have ever received in my entire life.
wow.
Because everybody knows me as a stand-up comedian, motivational speaker, actress, and he's very intense on me. And at one point, he said, "You know what you are?" I said, "What am I, Dustin?" "You are a writer first before anything else." And I just beamed from cheek to cheek because I've always known that. And he was the first person to say that to me. And
Wow, that's remarkable.
it just touched my heart. So thank you, Dustin.
Can I ask you? You and I have talked about that privately. Yeah,
On his way out, I said, "Dustin, I am a huge fan of yours. I have to admit, and I love your work. I think you're brilliant. But I gotta say, I'm envious of one thing about you." And he said, "Envious? What are you envious of?" I said, "The fact that you can walk in heels better than I can."
great. That's fucking great. You and I have talked privately about that. Your ability to write, and we talked about that. And it came early in your life that you knew you were a writer. Why is it so important for you to not only to know, but to realize the gift of literature? Why is that so critical for you? Whereas so many people don't care.
Well, you know what's interesting? I think we didn't really have grades in special ed, but I'll make up a grade.
I love it. I love it.
Oh shit, that's great. Love it.
The first grade, and they had a PTA meeting at night where the parents came to the classroom, and my teacher told my mom, "You have to read this." And it was on the wall among one of the good projects that these kids did. And I wrote a story about a family of Eskimos in Alaska. And
Oh Jesus.
I was in the first grade, mind you. And the phone rang, and they were informed that their father would not be home for dinner because he died in a car accident on the subway.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez. He died in a car accident on the subway.
Subway.
And what the teacher wanted to know from my parent is, where does she get all this stuff? She's in Alaska. She's with Eskimos.
God, that's so funny.
Now in New York on a subway. And does she know that you can't drive cars on subways? And my mom laughed and she said, apparently not. But I'll let her know. And my mom told me that if I was serious at being a writer, to write about what I know about. And I remember her telling me that at age 7 or 8. If you're going to write what you know about, not what you don't know about.
Right. Did you find
Amelia,
writing?
You're up.
Did you find writing as a coping mechanism to help you get through any difficult time in your life?
I wrote a lot of poetry in high school, so that was coping with loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
But I think writing for me is I write on a much higher level than I do anything else. Like, I'll write something and put it away and look at it the next day. Did I write that? It's like it's on a level that I don't operate on verbally.
Geri, do you look at things objectively from like third person angle, as if someone else wrote it?
Yes. I had to think about that for a second. Yes, I do.
And is that cathartic for you?
That I have out right now, Geri Jewels and Gems. I'll pick it up and look at it and read it every now and then and go, oh my God, I wrote that?
Yeah.
That was pretty good, Jewel.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's the book. You are looking at it. It's Geri Jewels and Gems, forwarded by Norman Lear, authored by our friend Geri Jewell. This is the first book I became aware of. In fact, I have a copy of it that you signed for me, and it's right here. I'm walking as straight as I can.
Yeah, that was an interesting book too.
Yeah, that is. I was inspired by that. I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you something that I've never said publicly on the air, and I'm going to tell you now. That book is partly responsible for the podcast that you are looking at right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. I too grew up with.
Can you make your face bigger so that I can see your lips and make me tiny? Because I already know what my lips look like.
Oh, there you go.
Now I can read your lips. Okay.
Beautiful. So one of the things that you did through this book was to create the sense of inspiration for anyone to do anything. And when I started this podcast, I wasn't exactly a young man, you know, but I have my background as television and radio. So when the podcast thing started taking off, I thought this is a natural transition for me to go from radio to podcasting. And I took a little bit of inspiration from the book, and I took some ideas from the book, and I manifested them, and you are looking at the result.
Oh, wow. Thank you. God,
you are quite, I should say thank you. And Amelia will thank you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
One of the things I think it's important to do whenever I have you here, it's important for me to present you as the voice of the voiceless. It's important for me to present you as someone who knows what other people don't. And I want you to share your knowledge. I want you to tell people what's possible. and what's not possible. And there's not a whole lot that's not possible. So, if you will, my dear, have at it. This is all you.
Gosh, it's interesting because my sister, you know, towards the end of her life, I said, I wish that I could have done more for you as a sister, as an older sister than I did. I wish I had been a better sister. And she had tears in her eyes, and she said, Geri, you were watching you. You were the one that inspired me to go after everything I did in life.
Yes.
You made it like, wow, if she can do that, I can do this.
Exactly.
I guess I always had a strong mind. I still have a strong mind. I, you know, like when I was a teenager, very, very lonely, not very many friends, spent a lot of time by myself. I used to take a tennis racket and a tennis ball and play against the 57 freeway next to my house, against the cement wall of the freeway, back and forth, and pretend like that I was a professional tennis player. Then in 1984, I'm on ABC Wide World of Sports playing doubles with Arthur Ashe,
Wow.
John McEnroe, and
Wow.
Wayne Cook. And the thing of it is, everything that I had in my mind as a kid being on a television show, I mean, I wanted to be a Walton so bad. I wanted to date a Partridge. I never wanted to be a Brady. But but the thing of it is that everything that I imagined as a kid I've done. I imagined that I was a famous writer, and here I'm on my third book. If you can imagine it, you can do it in life. You have to be able to see it in your mind first. Does that make sense?
Oh my God,
Absolutely. Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It makes all the sense in the world. And
Mhm.
it's critical that people hear that. One of the things that we try to do here, and we're actually going to take a small break in just a moment. One of the things that we do here, Amelia and I really try to give voice to the voiceless. In as much as we're able to on a show like this, we try. And so one of the things that we do is we bring people on the show who make a difference and who have made a difference, such as yourself, such as a guest we got coming up, Susie Singer Carter, that's coming up for a 3-day stay with us.
Oh wow, I love her.
She's coming here for her a 3-night a 3-night event on the show. We are going to do. We're doing the lead up to her film premiere, and this is the show that she chose to do it on. And she's been here before, and of course, our friend Harlan Bowl. I love you, Harlan. Mwah. My boy Harlan. I love Harlan Bowl. He's an amazing guy. I break his balls all the time, but he just puts LOL when he ever gets an email from me. LOL.
He does.
Yeah. The mad dog. The mad dog. All right. Let me do this, Geri, because I want to show you. Rather than tell you what we do, I'm actually going to show you. So, Amelia, we're going to do a small break. Take a look at this. The following is a public service announcement from WTBR Radio. If you need help, reach out. What's the Buzz Popcast at gmail.com or call 856-449-4513. We are here to help. That's what we like to do. That's
That is so
virtually
cool.
every helpline, every support center. We have them all here. And that's important for me. And that's why it's so important to have people like yourself on. You know, people know you as an actress, as a stand-up, a groundbreaking entertainer, but you're also more than that. You're strong
Yes.
because there are no disabilities. I don't believe they exist.
No.
I believe they are hyper abilities. Those people with so-called disabilities, they are hyper abilities, and we like to promote that here.
Well, I've never, well, like I said, in the past, I believe that cerebral palsy is a part of the human condition. You know, it's a part of this journey. I, I, it's only going to be as disabling as we allow it up here. Number one. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't have all the answers, Angelo. I'm not God. I don't know why some people have to go through some things and others don't. I've looked at my own life and it's been rocky, up and down. I've been through a lot of things. And one of the things that I noticed is a pattern in me is recognizing when I second guess myself. Because when I second guess myself, that's when I get in trouble. That's when I go against the journey that I came in to do. And I have learned to be more careful about who I allow in my inner circle than I was.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing to do. Yes.
Absolutely. You know what, you said something very important about second guessing yourself. I began to do that with this show many years ago. I started to second guess myself. If I continued that way, we wouldn't be sitting here.
No,
But
you
were it not for, thank you for, you know, I'm walking as straight as I can. That book is a game changer, not only for me, but for anybody that's ever picked it up and read it cover to cover. I'm fortunate though, because I know the woman with whom this book was inspired. You know, it's important. It's really important to get your message out. If you did nothing else in life, if you accomplished nothing else but getting on television, you've done 1,000 times more than a lot of people will ever get a chance to do. And that's important.
I've been told that, but I'm also very hard on myself. I have high expectations and I don't sit on my laurels and think, okay, I've done everything. But I, you know, I do wonder. I look at the world right now and I wonder, why am I still here? I've done all this work and the world is a mess right now.
Yes.
And it really is. The whole world is a mess. And I thought, how can I possibly contribute more at my age? You know, you know, I honestly didn't expect to live this long in the first place. So I'm living
Yeah.
beyond my own expectations.
Right.
And I guess every morning when I wake up, what that's telling me is that I have more to do. Because if I didn't have more to do, I simply wouldn't wake up.
Right.
Geri, you know who George Slaughter is?
Yes, I do.
George was on the show with me here. George is 95 years old.
Yes.
And he said something that I just had to laugh at. He said, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. But he also said something important. I asked the magic question. I said, George, what's next for you? At 95, he says, I'm working on another book. I'm working on a part 2 to this book. Because he had just written a book. Amelia, remember that show?
Yes.
Oh
I
God, yes,
had,
of course.
Hmm.
I had
He only was
George
on
here.
here for 30 minutes, and he said he could have done the whole hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
worried. I was worried about having him on too long. So, but he ended up staying about 45 minutes with
Yeah.
us. But I had on the show with him that night a guy he hadn't seen in a long, long time. His name's Stephen Plim. He
Yeah.
was the manager of Tiny Tim, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Oh
And
wow. Okay.
yeah, and his manager's a very, very dear friend of mine, Stephen Plim. Um, because it was Stephen Plim that got him on the Rowan and Martin's Laughing
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Oh my God.
If
Wow.
if had it not been for George and Stephen Plim, we may never have known the genius of Tiny Tim.
Correct.
That this is
Oh,
what
how
the
interesting.
little things, little nuances, they make a difference. They make a difference.
Hmm.
I'll just tell you a real quick anecdote. I got a friend of mine, been on the show many times. His name's Stephen McCoy. He's one of the top paid performers in Las Vegas. He's
Okay.
the world's greatest Tom Jones tribute artist. He's the only one endorsed by Tom Jones. They know each other. And Steve was here, and I said to him, Steve, what makes greatness? And he says, it happens all at once. You can't plan greatness. It's got to be spontaneous. Either it happens or it doesn't. And I think Geri Jewell is a spontaneous gem, brilliance personified on 2 legs that is absolutely a national treasure. I'll
Uh,
shut up now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angela. That was so sweet. Thank
I
you.
mean that. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely certain about that. Amelia, questions for Geri?
Yeah, it's more of a comment, but I wanted to say thank you so much because you writing and everything like that has inspired me to, well, not really write again, but like put my thoughts on paper for, anybody going through any situation. And I've been going through a little bit right now myself,
Um,
and I've been writing some stuff down, and it's kind of helped me cope. And I
Yeah.
really want to thank you for that because you're an inspiration to me. I
oh,
wanted to thank
May,
you.
just
Amelia,
I,
may I tell Geri?
Yes, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
Geri, the last time you were here, Amelia had a healthy husband. He has since passed away.
I'm
Um,
so sorry.
he
Thank you.
ended up having what they believe was essentially a heart attack, his cardiac arrest.
Mhm.
Um, the fact that he smoked didn't help him,
No.
but life can change. And we always say here at this show, life can change on a dime, and tomorrow is promised to no one. So make every day count as much as you can, whatever you're able to do. And I think, young lady, you've been doing that with, through you're not only the stand up,
Right.
not only through television, but through motivational speaking, through the books, through appearances. You doing that in spades, kiddo. I got
Yes.
news for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are
Well,
honored to
I'm
know
very
you. And
blessed. I'm very, very blessed. And since you read my first book, you know that I spent the first 3 months of my life in an incubator.
yeah,
And I was not allowed to even, nobody could physically touch me. They didn't believe that preemie babies, I only weighed 3 when I was born. I lost a pound, and they didn't expect me to live through the night. And they had an emergency baptism at 4 in the morning. They said she's not going to live through sunrise, so let's get down here and baptize her. And I oftentimes think, uh, if if I had such a traumatic birth, which I did with my mother,
Right.
and I'm put in a glass box for 3 months,
Mhm.
and the only interaction is with plastic gloves and masks, and maybe someone spraying Windex in the middle of the night, cleaning my windows. Uh, or whatever.
Cleaning your windows.
But I'm thinking,
Shit.
what what kept me alive in that glass box? And they didn't even have my real name. They put Precious Jewel on my name.
Wow. Oh my
Wow.
God. I love that.
You are a precious jewel.
You absolutely.
I think my point being, there had to have been something to keep someone alive. I mean, you put me in a glass box now, I could last maybe 10 minutes. Okay, I've had enough.
Right. Yeah.
I know, right? Like, get me
Let
out.
let me out. I was definitely streamlined spiritually. There had to have been visitors in my first life to teach me how to survive. And that's the only thing that kept me going. That's why I'm still here now with everything I've been through, because I had
Yeah.
such a huge education in survival.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
that's what I came into the world to do, is to survive. Not only to survive, but to survive and thrive. And that's the gift that I
You
received.
did. That is your gift, and your gift is also to teach others how to thrive and survive. That's your real calling.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it is, but it's a huge responsibility, because I know that too.
Absolutely.
And if
Jerry,
I
did you
go
know?
against it, I know I'm going against it.
Jerry, did you know Judy Tenuta?
Yes, I did.
We had a young lady on the show the other night, Taylor Blackwell, that just did a film called "It Happened," the Judy Tenuta story.
Oh,
May I connect you with her, because she is just absolutely engulfed in the spirit of Judy.
She's awesome.
I said to her on the show, I said, as much as you want to believe that you chose Judy Tenuta, I'm telling you, she chose you. Her spirit chose you. And
huh.
then I explained to her what my gig is. I'm a psychic. You know that. You've known that for years. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to connect the two of you. Can I do that?
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Because the film is it's probably going to be a feature. It's probably going to be made into a feature. Right now, it's a what do they call that, Amelia? Like a streaming service?
Yeah, right now it's just a streaming service. It's just
Yeah,
trying
you
to
have
get
to
people
buy
to
it now
watch
on a streaming service. But I
it.
think that they're going to do a big budget feature of it.
Yes.
Oh, that
Um,
would be wonderful.
yeah. Amelia. In
Yes.
fact, you know what? I want to show you her picture. Let me do that real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, and
Amelia,
go
we
ahead.
still have it's remarkable. It really, really is. Here it is. Here she is, Jerry. Check this out.
Oh, wow. She looks a lot like her.
Yeah, and more so on the video too. Her name's Taylor Blackwell. She's 26 years old. She looks like she's about 12 though, right?
Yeah.
She looks like
She looks like a kid. I said to her, "Are you old enough to be up this late?"
He did.
But yeah, I definitely want to make that connection, because there's something there. I said to her, I said, I want you to meet my friend Geri Jewell. You two have a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about.
Is she based in LA or New York?
She's in New York now. She was in LA. Yeah,
Okay.
she's here now. Amelia,
Yes.
tell everybody what's coming up tomorrow night on the show.
We actually have Louise and Bruno coming on. She is a Cher lookalike, and her husband Jerry is
Louise,
going to come
yeah,
on.
and she, Geri and Louise Bruno,
Mhm.
they run J&L Productions. They also produce a show called oh my goodness, it's called the most shareable, the most shareable
Terrible something.
something to that effect. So I'm
She
botching it. I'm
looks
sure I
she
am.
looks just like Cher,
But
even without the
she
wig.
is a dead ringer for Cher.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
I want to show you Louise Bruno,
Yes.
everybody. Check this out. This is it's staggering
Oh,
to think
absolutely.
that well, it's kind of scary in a way too,
Hmm.
because she looks just like her.
Very much like her.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
really where are we at? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hot damn. I have to find all this stuff. I got stuff everywhere over here, folks. So
it's got it scattered.
you got bear with me. Yep, bear with me.
Mhm.
There we go.
Well, he
And
well, he's looking for that. I just wanted to say that
oh
my mom wanted for me to tell you hello, and that every time Facts of Life would come on with you, and she made sure we were watching that show all the time. She made sure that when
Aw,
you were on it, we were watching it, no matter what.
aw, that's so cool. In fact, I'm going to see Lisa next weekend
Oh,
in
awesome!
Toronto.
You ought
You
to
may
tell her
not
hello,
ever
and she
feel
needs to come
alive,
on the show.
but
I found her. Here she is. Hot damn.
Tell her we'll welcome her anytime on the show.
oh my
That
God,
Hmm.
she does.
Hmm.
that's Louise Bruno. She'll be here
Wow,
tomorrow night. Yeah,
Right?
she'll be here tomorrow night.
wow, wow,
And
wow.
she's a sweetheart of a lady on top of it, for
Very,
real.
very kind lady. Yes.
Really nice lady.
Hmm.
I am working on something. I'm going to tell everybody now. I'm not worried about jinxing myself or whatever, but I am working on a major U.S. political figure that I got my fingers and toes crossed that says yes, that they will come on here. Um, I'm trying to secure an interview with the governor of New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy, and because he has post gubernatorial aspirations, he's looking at the White House.
Mm.
God help us all.
I don't think
But
anybody wants that position anymore, truthfully. I
No.
mean,
yeah, you
I
know
were a
what?
little
You're
girl,
right.
I wouldn't
You,
want to grow up to be president of the United States. Heck no.
Oh no.
yeah, and you know what, Jerry? A lot of people. You're absolutely right. A lot of people. That's why nobody wanted to run the last time. It's like, who
No.
the hell wants this job?
That was a hard,
You know,
hard.
yeah, it really. Hell, Donald Trump didn't even want.
Heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to me. I mean, I did a lot of work in the U.S. government, as you know, through my,
Yeah,
I did a lot of
absolutely.
that DEI training all over, changing attitudes. And it seems like everything is just being flushed down the toilet. It's just
Yeah,
so sad
yeah.
to me. I, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I
No.
don't. I spent decades doing that work, and I can't imagine going on the road and doing that work in my 70s.
Well, I was just about to tell you there are a number of very powerful women, especially women, who have taken a second voice again. People from the 70s and 80s that are now, resurrecting their voice in the 2000s. Uh, why
Yeah,
not? Why not, Geri Jewell?
you're right. Well, again, I've got to figure out how I can physically do that pace. I don't have the same body I did back then, you know. And I I very rarely flew first class to save people money. And I never went with someone to go with me to help me with anything. I traveled all over by myself. I
Yeah.
don't think I could physically do that today.
Yeah.
There's no way I could survive doing that.
Can I suggest something to you?
But
You and I right now are part of a medium that is inexpensive, that is worldwide, global. People, we are right now broadcasting in 36 countries around the world. We're being translated into 33 languages right now as we speak, because we have the power of live streaming. Can I suggest to you that might be that's your voice? Why not, Geri?
well, there is something that I'm working on, not that per se, but I am working on a documentary called My Next Breath, and
Oh,
we're doing it in
congratulations.
episodes. In fact, one episode is about the heart, Amelia, and we will there's it's an incredible episode, and then there's an episode about what I've done with my life, and it's called The Walk. Because how can you duplicate my walk? You can't. There's no way,
Yeah.
even if you tried.
Right.
That's why it would be so hard to find someone to play me in a film, because, you know, on the one hand, I'm, you know, I'm for hiring people with disabilities in roles and not having non-disabled people play, but how are you going to find somebody with cerebral palsy exactly like me, the way I have it, when every case of CP is different from one person to the next? You can't.
If they're out there, if they are out there, I assure you, they'll hear this and they'll respond. We've been so blessed with this show, and I want to just tell everybody, thank you so much. We exceeded 10 million on Spotify alone. We are about to approach almost 17 million subscribers worldwide. So, and I'm 66 in a couple of days, so I ain't no spring chicken either, baby. You know? Anyway, on behalf.
Well, I'm not done yet. Don't get me wrong. I just don't.
No, I know that. I know that. Well, I'm going to keep you around as long as we can. But in the meantime, the network is kicking us off right now.
Well, she's more than welcome.
We have to say goodnight to everybody, Geri. Geri,
Okay,
I want to bring you back again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I will have Amelia reach out to you.
To promote her documentary.
We'll set up some future dates for you. But in the meantime, we want everybody to be kind to each other, be loving to each other. Like Geri said, the world is crazy enough. There's enough nuts going around. Spread some love, spread some happiness. You know, it takes less to smile than it does to frown.
Yes.
So we will see you tomorrow night, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. For Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. For my friend Geri Jewell, I am the Mad Dog. Take care, folks. God bless. We'll see you again. Bye.